Hey everybody, this is Thomas with the Mighty Toadstool. Today I want to talk to you about set building for stop motion films. I get a lot of questions on my Instagram page. You can find the link below. It's at Lego Art and Life. I get questions about the sets that I use, whether I build them, where I buy them, where they can get them. So I thought I would take you through my process and my thinking on when I build my sets. This will maybe help you whether you're starting off or you're thinking about starting off on making films. Maybe this will help you determine what your needs are for your next film. So before we get started, I'd like to thank you for watching. Please hit that subscribe button below. It'll help me make more videos like this so we can go through this stop motion journey together. All right, let's get started. So if you're familiar with my Instagram page, you'll recognize this set. This is the patient room set, the first one that I made. I learned a lot making this, and I'll tell you what I learned. Maybe it'll help you, miss some frustrations that I experienced when you're making yours. Now, before I really get into the building of this set, I want to make the big lesson I want you to take away from this video is that you are the filmmaker. You determine what the camera sees. So if you don't want the camera to see something, you don't need to build it. Right. Now, the first thing to notice on this patient room is that there are only two walls. The big reason why there are only two walls in this patient room is because I did not have enough bricks to make 4 walls. I barely had enough to build this. So again, I only want the camera to see what I want the camera to see. So this is all nice and smooth. It looks like walls, but notice the back. The back looks terrible. Look at this. It's all jutting out. It's all looking really bad. But again, I only determine what the camera sees. I only want the camera to see this. It will never see the back. So when you're building your set, don't worry so much about the back. Just worry about what the camera sees. If I want a third wall here or a fourth wall there, sure, I could build another wall and just slap it on there. But with only 2 walls, this is really all I need. I can pan in or get close-ups. This is what the camera sees. From this angle, I can go around. I can shift the set any way that I want. And if I really want a different angle, because let's face it, shooting this way can get boring at times, this is what I've incorporated into every set that I build. I make the walls collapsible. So I take this off, take one brick off, and look at that. Both of the walls can come off. So I can take these and move them any way that I want so I can make it appear that there is a full room. And because I don't want the sets to fall apart whenever I move them around a lot, I secure it with a tile up there, so now the walls can't move. And I can just lift this up and move it anywhere that I want to go. Now, going with the theme of this is all that I had when I first started, it'll give you an idea that you don't need that many bricks to get started. You can build a very small set, very small scene, because that's all the camera really needs to see. I can close up in like this, and if you shoot a whole scene like this, then you will never need to see anything past that. You will never need all this, you'll never need all that. Okay, so keep that in mind if you're first starting off building sets. It doesn't have to be some huge thing. I was really inspired by these modular buildings, and I wanted to build something as grand and as detailed as that. But as I started shooting, I realized I don't need that, because what is the story that I'm trying to tell? Most of my stories happen inside a hospital, and the big important room inside a hospital is the patient room. So that's why this is the first one that I made. Another thing that was really important for me when I was building this is how will the light hit it? If you've ever been in a hospital or even a building for that matter, you'll know that inside is usually well lit. So I needed a set that was wide open so the light could hit it everywhere. I have a light going on in the back there, and I have 2 behind the camera right here shining on these angles like that. So everything's well lit. I wanted to try to keep as little shadows as I could. Sometimes shadows are cool. For what I was doing, I didn't want shadows. Now, if I really wanted to make the room dark, I could just turn off a couple lights and it'll look like it's nighttime. Sure, the light still shoots in here, but I could put a wall right there or just a piece of cardboard, anything to block it, because again, the camera will never see it. Or I can just take a piece of cardboard, put it up on top here, and it'll make it look like it's dark, and turn on this light here, and the light will only shine through the windows there, which looks pretty cool. But again, it goes back to what I was saying at the beginning. The camera will see only what you want it to see, so build your set around that, but make sure you can light it. So if you build 4 walls and a top, well, how is the camera going to see anything, and how are you going to light it? All right, so that's what I needed, so I kept it wide open like that. Another thing that I worked a lot on were the details inside the room. Whether you're making a film that takes place inside or outside in the forest or something, for me, you generally want the background to look nice, to look believable. So I put some thought into what I wanted in here. Being a nurse myself, there are some things that I wanted to see. Let me just take you through this. Like I wanted a crash cart, I wanted a sink, I wanted an IV pole, simulated pump for oxygen and suction, and a bed. And I threw in a lamp here and a cup right here. But those are the basic things that I wanted. So I slowly started adding it in there. If you watch the very first video that I posted on Instagram, the room just barely had anything in there. And it worked. Reason why it worked, which also leads me to my other point, when you put stuff in the background, you don't want it so distracting that it takes away from the minifigures. I don't know what film you're going to make, but for me, the main focus I want the person to watch is the minifigures. So I don't want the background to be so complicated that it takes away from what they do. Okay, that being said, it can be also too simple where it takes away from the minifigure. Because if you look at this one, if you notice the walls in this room, they're all white. And a lot of the medical figures that I have, well, their shirts are white. So they can sometimes tend to be washed out by the back wall. That's a reason why I put this strip right here. And it goes all the way around the room, and that'll give a bit of a contrast to what the color scheme of the minifigure is. So keep that in mind while you're making your set as well and your characters. All right, let's take a look at the other set that I want to show you, and you'll see it's very much the same concepts. This is the nurse's station. Again, it's very simple, only has 2 walls. It has a collapsible wall, so I can take this top part off and the walls will just fall apart, and I can put them any direction that I want, in any of the sides that I want. There's no top, there's a window here. Both my sets have doors. I have a med machine here, 2 computers to chart, and a counter, and a small table right here. It's very simple, nothing really gets in the way. The big thing that I learned from this set is the color scheme. Like I was talking about with the patient room, it's all white, so it can sometimes wash away the characters. Well, the thing I like about this room is there's so many colors back here, but it really works with the minifigure. The minifigure will always pop out. And this happened by accident. These, unfortunately, were the only bricks that I had to make this room. After I built the patient room, I used up all the white bricks that I had, and this is all I had. So I said, it's a different part of the hospital. There's a chance that it could be colored different. So this is all I had. Look at the back. The back is a mess, but it doesn't matter because you determine what the camera sees. The flooring. I kept the studs on the floor because when they walk, it's just a lot easier for me to make them walk with the studs. Some people, when they make sets, they fully tile the floor, which looks fantastic. But for me, it's more difficult for me to make them walk on tiles than to walk on studs. So I just keep the studs there. And, I honestly don't think it really gets in the way. But I do love a fully tiled floor. The big takeaway from this is you are the filmmaker. You determine what the camera sees. If you don't need such a huge set, don't make such a huge set. You don't need much to start. Figure out what is your main focus. For me, my main focus are the minifigures, what they're doing. Usually that is the case. Please subscribe below. And I can make more tutorial videos like this, whether you're really into, deep into experienced stop motion films or whether you're just starting off. Please leave a comment below. I would love to know your process on building sets because I'm always looking to learn and improve what I do. Thank you for watching. This is Thomas with the Mighty Toadstool. Hope to talk to you again. Thanks a lot.